I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am.
Don't put that on camera. My God. I don't even like that it's in here, let alone being shown off.
I'm a lot like my grandma in that I used to I spent the majority of my early life with my mom, my sister, and my grandma, and then often my Aunt Cookie. So I was
we're cut from the same cloth.
Same cloth. I was around old women and my mom for most of my life until I could ride my bike to go places on my own. I was with women and primarily older women.
To this day, my desired audience, the one that I'm really going to hit with, is ladies 40 plus.
I completely agree. I mean? I completely agree.
Kind of like if they're a little over it and they have a little money, now we're really in my sweet spot.
Yeah,
I can operate freely.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. That's where I'm comfortable. But my grandma would always have a wet paper towel in her hand from either washing her hands or whatever, and then she would just have it. And I will.
What are you doing with it? Are you cleaning up yourself?
No, it's
are you just
more
moist
textural
all the time.
It's just textural. It's like a sensory thing, I think, more than anything. But at my house or here, at any moment, if I put on a pair of pants or something, I usually got a dried, wadded up paper towel in my pocket or on my side table. Michelle was like, God, they're everywhere, just all over the house. And I just use them and then leave them and I come back for them. And anyway, so that's what we started the pod, and I'm fussing around with my...
Okay. How are we? You're coming
Good,
off
man.
of being ill.
I was pretty ill.
No
Felt
COVID.
rough. No COVID. COVID test came back negative. Now, I thought it was going to be positive, but I don't know, man. I've taken,
I mean, I think you just get like a summer cold. You know what I mean? I think that especially if the temperature kind of does a little waving around, you just get like a little loose sick for a little while.
Yep. So that's what I was at. I went home. I came in Monday, and you're like, go home, dude. So go home. Spent the last 2 days working at home. That was nice. I got a lot of product writing done. I got ahead on a lot of shit, so we don't have to fuck around so much because we've been busy. You know what I mean? So that's been nice. Took it easy. Listened to my podcasts, wrote product, and kind of just got ahead on some work. But we're back in. What about you? It's been a busy week, yeah?
Just normal. We're busy, but normal stuff, getting ready for Labor Day and all that. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to tell you that you missed something exciting, but I don't think you did. I mean, although there was a lot going on, it was nothing like to be like, oh, this thing happened, or it's just normal. Yeah. Business as usual.
Yeah.
So anything going? What did you do this weekend? Did you have? Do we haven't? I'm realizing we haven't. Full... Yeah. We're back. We're all off because we've been doing we've had a lot of guest episodes
Tuesdays, Thursdays,
and then we were doing a lot of evening versions of this, and so this feels foreign, even though we're back to our usual routine.
What did I do Sunday? I did not leave the house. I made that a point.
Because you were sick.
I wasn't feeling stellar, but I also just didn't want to. It was really hot, and I just didn't want to do it. So, kicked it. Really gardened quite a bit. Our tomatoes I've been retrellising them, and I have to keep up on them because they're fucking crazy right now. So fucked around in the garden a little bit. What did we do Saturday? Did you do anything? Tell me about your weekend.
You're looking at me like I would know.
I don't know if I would have told you. I don't think we did anything Saturday.
Traditionally, we do not talk about our weekends specifically so that we have
it for the pod.
We've saved
Sunday, I did nothing.
As if we're so exciting that people have to listen. And it's always like, I didn't really do anything. I didn't. It's Saturday. I do my normal business. I sit outside and listen to music.
Did you go for a long walk?
No long walk. I've been back in the gym, which I'll give you a little gym update because I know you like those. So we've been back because Gia's in school now. She's back to school, so I'm back in the gym a lot. And I did something to my foot that feels like, when you're a kid and you're trying to do, you're unsuccessfully running sets on a skateboard and you're just missing. And then you get home and you're like, my heel is
bruised.
Yeah. It feels like my heel's bruised. But I mean, it's just, I do some pretty intense incline walks on the treadmill, but I don't know that that's going to fuck up your heel.
It's pretty low impact.
So that hurts. So I didn't do any didn't do any long walks. Or I didn't want to do one of my classic 6 to 7 hour walks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So no, none of that. I cleaned up. Just took it easy. I made some phone calls, needed to like make some phone calls.
Yep.
Hey. Nothing thrilling. Played some music, worked on some shit. Kind of getting back into that flow a little bit now. So did some stuff there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know what I did Saturday.
Okay, here we go.
We cleaned that mother effing garage, boy.
Oh, God damn, finally got done.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's why you're sick.
we woke up and fussed around on the patio a little bit, and then we were like,
let's go time.
Let's just do it. You know what I'm saying? So we put a tarp in the back of, she has a cross track, so it's small, it's a small, it's not as full-size SUV as your guys is, but it's more or less, you know what I mean? Like, I view it as not, but then when you see them next to other cars, they are.
Through a small hatchback when we lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's, look, there's more room in my car now, but it's not by leaps and bounds. You know what I mean? Now, number one, we didn't have a kid, so you could just, half the time I just left the seats down in the back, and it's just one big trunk, which is great.
Let me tell you a story about that later on, too.
Also, if you've never had the pleasure of like parallel parking a hatchback, it's like a dream.
Oh, it's tight.
Just zip right in and out. And in Chicago,
yeah,
I don't remember. You don't understand like the plights of living in a city when you're like go do a grocery run and then you're like a cool 4 hours of trying to find a place to park. We used to because I don't want to get into the reasons why, but I would need to be back like after a holiday or something quickly, and I would go home, drive 3.5 hours back to Chicago, and then spend literally 2 to 3 hours trying to find a parking spot. And then if it snowed and you couldn't get in, so maybe you'd find one that works, but you couldn't get the car's too small to get it into the. Dude, it was just a nightmare. And then sometimes you'd be like, all right, now I got to walk 3 blocks to get home or something, and
I hate
it's like
that.
a whole thing,
dude. There's literally no part of me that would live in a city for as long as I'm alive unless it was a second, third, or fourth home and I was ungodly wealthy. Because I want to live like we did when we went to New York 2 Januaries ago.
Yeah.
Where it's like you just fucking get the big body and whatever will make things more convenient, you pay for. Because that is misery. That's misery. You're not supposed to live that way, dude.
No, I disagree. I think you are supposed to live that way. I think everything, like you think that humans evolved to a place where we're driving enormous, where like I'm back in that truck I rented to go back home, where I could reach my full arm across the car and not touch Abby. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it's like, and then you drive that motherfucker around and then park directly in a garage and go directly inside to back to sitting. Like that's not how you're supposed to live either. No, you know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's a marriage of both, bro. I think that
you're supposed to live there in your 20s and early 30s. That's what you're supposed to do. And then if you love it and you're able to make yourself comfortable there, like then you do that. But also, that's the other thing. I could just be like, hey, you want to go to a party? Yeah, no doubt. I walk out my front door, I go 2 blocks over, and I'm at the party. Yeah. Or I'm at the restaurant, or I'm just doing stuff. I'm in it. You're like right in the middle of it. It's not like you hear tangentially or you have to go take a vacation. You really don't need to go anywhere because everything you want to do is right there. You know? And Chicago is a specifically hard city with the weather and how spread out it is, things like that, the violence. But like, it's like one of those things where like, you just get used to it and it feels like you're normal. Like that only seems bad now. When I was in it, it would be annoying now and then, but you're just so used to that it doesn't, none of it matters. And like the fact that like, if I wanted to go grocery shopping, it's like boom out my front door. I could leave with nothing on me, walk 2 blocks over, have my groceries come back. You know what I mean?
I do like, and I like and appreciate that. I've only experienced it in short bursts, you know what I mean, of staying in cities.
Yeah, you haven't lived there.
No, I haven't lived there.
I mean, think about it, dude. How often are you even outside of going to work? And think about this. Like, yes, commuting's a pain in the ass. But also, like, there was, like, a very nice, like, I was never late. I'm not a late person at all. I'd get there early and then mosey around. I just recently saw on the internet as some kind of like corny thing where it was like there's some Japanese word for that where you like get there ahead of time to like scout it out, and I'm like, yeah, it's called anxiety. Like I've had it all my life.
I'm interested in that concept because I'm the same way.
Yeah, they just put a pretty name on the front of it, but it's just being anxious. But I think it's also like it's a smooth brain activity where I can go and be like, I know where things are. I've felt out the energy in this space before I have to like do something in it.
I know the entrance.
So you'd go and you'd take like a short couple block walk to the train or the bus. You wait 10 minutes. So you listen to music, you just zone out, you look at things. Architecture is beautiful. The weather changes a lot. You're on the bus. I would just read books. I would listen to podcasts. I would get a lot of that media stuff done. So I didn't really need to do that in my free time necessarily. Yeah. And it's just like, so it's like also, it's like nice that you would get off work, and yes, does it take an hour to get home and it's crazy because it's not that far? Yes. But at the same time, it's like I've had it's probably not a full hour. Let's say it's 30 to 40 minutes. I've had 30 to 40 minutes decompression. By the time I've walked in the door, I'm good. Like I'm good to do the next thing. You know, because I've had all these like, you know, decompression times because there's just, you have to. And so I really do miss that actually. Because like, you know, now we get off work, we walk out the door, I'm in a car for under a minute and then I'm home.
Yeah, you guys are so fucking close.
You know what I mean?
I get the decompression time. I personally get it getting home.
You just get used to whatever you're around.
I'll say this.
I'm saying? Like, you would just get used to it. And then that would be your life. And you would think that everything else is weird. I thought everything else was so weird for so long. And
yeah.
You do this and,
yeah. No, there's a couple things that do appeal to me in that realm. I like having things on my person. I like the idea of a commuter. Like, I have my little Snow Peak bag. I bring it in on Monday and I take it home on Friday in the event that I need my laptop over the weekend or if I'm sick on my, you know what I mean? And I don't get to use the bag. I like having shit on your person. Long coats. I can imagine all the ways that I would stuff those pockets full of shit. You know what I mean? And I like that. You got the gloves. You got the winter gear. I like all of that. And I can get down with that. And I've only experienced that in, like I said, short bursts. Longest being when I was in Berlin when I graduated high school. I went for 2 weeks to visit buddies with my buddy. And all public transit. We were all
buddies with my buddy.
I went some buddies with my buddy. It was all public transit. We were only in my buddy's dad's car 2-3 times. We went to my buddy's high school graduation. We went to Potsdam to take the Autobahn to go on like the speed limitless road, and we went to somewhere that it was involving some sort of piece of German history where I think it's where Hitler and his army kind of all colluded to. So it was a really dark museum, but it was in like the most beautiful area of the world I've ever seen. It was like the most picturesque fucking lake with beautiful brick houses and stone houses. Anyway, point being, it was all public transit, and I felt very comfortable by the time I left there after 2 weeks to be like, I know this bus will get me here, and I know how to do this, and I could fucking navigate that. I think still to this day, we went to Berlin, bro. We're whipping around like it would take zero time to figure out. One, because they've got it fucking dialed. Their public transportation's sick, and I thought it was fun.
I mean, I've always saying I drove so rarely in Chicago. I had like an office out in Oak Brook at one point that I used, so I would go do that. But like outside of that, like I didn't know how to get anywhere. All I could do was follow the train or bus lines. Like that's how I would get places because I knew that like the back of my hand. But I didn't know how to like drive there in a more smart way. So I'd take the weirdest ways to get places. It drove Abby crazy.
Yeah, that's my mom.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel that back then I experienced the world more. And if you're like, oh yeah, but you're out with all those people, you're doing your bit, you know?
Yeah.
I never talked to anybody. It's like solitude. You know what I mean? Like you got headphones.
You're doing your thing.
No
other
one's
people
really
doing
messing
their
with you. No one looks at you. You're around people kind of, but also Chicago's kind of spread out, so it's really not like that.
I used to drive.
But like I would just have to be out and about. Like if I needed something and I was out, I'd be like, well, I got to go over there and stop at this thing. And you're just like in the world a little bit.
No,
more
I get that.
And I like that.
I fully get that.
I've had to reevaluate how I do that here, which is why I take long walks or I take the hikes or I do things. I like to go to the gym. Because you go and like experience things.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
You know
I get it.
It's not
I get
about
it.
being in public. It's not about socializing. I'm not, you know me. I'm not like, we both talked about it. We can do it, but it's not something like I seek out necessarily. So I crave being in the world, but not really having to like, you know, necessarily
milling about.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And I think it's harder to do when you're in more of like, I don't want to say a full suburban setting. Yeah. Maybe you're a little bit more so than Boulder, but Boulder is also pretty suburban more or less. And it's like, there's aspects of it that are so much better. Like, do I like that I can just drive my car real quick and it's super easy?
Park in a parking lot, get the things you need.
Of course, that's really
and
convenient.
then you can, because Boulder is not walkable in the way Chicago is, because you would have all your shit you needed.
I'll be honest, dude, because I've walked around here a lot. If you need to walk or if you need to be a commuter, you can absolutely do it.
Oh,
here.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure. But I'm saying, like you were describing, you were able to hit the market here, this, that, and the other, and it was all in the realm of 10
more urban. It's
minutes
more,
of walking from your crib. What I'm saying is you could walk in Boulder, no doubt. Yeah. But we're going to walk 45 minutes each ways at least, or you could ride a bike and you could, and that's not safe. So,
although I've been thinking about getting a little whipper, just to, you know, a little piece of shit, just to like be able to hit the grocery store and not take it.
Well, in your situation, I would if I were you in your situation, because it's not terribly far and you're not really on any main streets. But dude, you see these fucking people who ride their bikes out here.
We can't get into this.
No, I won't even get into it. I
People
won't
be
even
mad
get
at
into it.
us.
I've already said
Yeah.
it. But people ride their bikes like they've never been hit by a car at shows because it's crazy. It's crazy behavior out here, the way people whip around their bikes. Anyway, done with the bike talk. You should get a little bike. I'd love to help you, work on it. We could
I'm not
repaint
doing
it. I
any
could
of that
pinstripe
shit.
it for
well,
you.
That's fine, but I could make it fancy. I'm not going to put anything. I don't want to. I'm not trying to go fast. I'm not.
No.
Cool.
I'm saying, do you want to take that shit apart, clean it, and put it back together, kind of thing?
That's fine.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cleaned out our garage finally. It is. You walk out there, bro. It's like a new room in the house. Your voice echoes. You feel like you can think clearer just having the garage be
I don't
clean.
understand how you guys accomplished this in such a short amount of time. The craziness.
Well, we put a tarp in the back of Michan's. That's what I was saying. It's a cross trek, so it's not a full size SUV like you guys, but it's certainly not like the old car you guys had. It's
bigger than that. Yeah.
It's a smidgen smaller than your SUV. You know what I mean? Put a tarp down, and we literally just took everything we didn't want and just shoved it in there. Went to the Boulder dump, paid the $60 for a carload fee, tossed all that shit. Had the big pieces picked up. We had a bed frame and a queen size mattress. Nothing was wrong with it. It was the one we were using in our guest room anyway. And this kid hit Michan up on Facebook Marketplace, be like, hey, I'm going to get this, that, and the other. And it was like a really cute exchange. And he was fucking stoked. And him and his little brother showed up in a van and packed it all up. And then he sent her a message after, like, thank you so much. Like, I got it all set up. And so that made us feel good because we could have just tossed it. But this fella left with it's like nice shit, dude. It's like a full metal bed frame that you can elevate. It has like the motor if you want to make it big, or not big, but you know what I mean? Like you can make it elevate on the head. Bed? No, like what are those ones that people were like a Tempur-Pedic? It's like it'll do that function where or like a hospital bed, sure. But we never use that function, but it's there and it works if you want it. So that made us feel good. And then we swept that bitch out. We yanked everything out of, we had multiple cardboard boxes of tools that I've accrued over the years or inherited or been given to. And anything that was doubles or triples, we decided what we kept, put in a donation bin. We've got a donation bin of books, towels, blankets, garden tools, what have you. And then we're going to go donate that. So we're resetting that bitch. And I'm really trying to kick it out there now. I'm really excited. In fact, that Puebco rug, the scrap fabric rug, I think I want to get it for the garage.
What are you going to do out there that you can't do inside?
I don't know. Mill around. Yeah, honestly, probably nothing. But I like it being clean. Oh, and I also have this fascination where I'm not interested in cleaning my car if I have to do it in the driveway or in the road. That sucks. I'm not going to do it. Now that we have a garage, I would like to pull my car in and detail it and clean it and work on it a little bit in the garage. So that's what I'll be doing.
Work on it a little bit.
Well, I have somebody backed into my car, parked here last year at some point, and the lights and shit still work, but the case shattered in like a corner, so I did replace. But I don't want to do that in the beating down sun.
Guy shit.
Just hey man.
Couple of beers.
Yeah, a couple little brews.
Couple of brews. Put Journey on. Just fucking zone out.
I tried a couple of those beers that a customer gave me last week. Remember from him and his jeans? I want to shout him out, but there's no chance he listens to the podcast. But if you do, buddy, I will shoot you an email. Thank you for the beers. A couple of those beers are pretty good, man. Did you take one home or no? I think Al got one.
If I take it home, it's going to sit in my fridge. I got 2 beers that have been in there for upwards of a year.
I went home with 7 beers, and that was last Friday, and there are 5 beers. We have vodka that we've had for over a year in the house. We have a 32-ounce bottle of wine that my sister and her friend bought, didn't drink. We're saving it for when they come back out. We're the same way. We just won't drink it. We've talked about this on the pod so many times.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't need it. So let's do this. Because I haven't given you any gym updates. I know this is a thing.
Yeah,
you like, and I've got a couple notes.
Is the Cleveland guy still around?
No, he's gone. I don't know where he might have went back.
Jail.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, or he got a job at the bus fixing station, or who knows? He just seems like a guy who was not going to be there forever.
Wait,
so he's gone.
Before you do gym update, real quick, I want to ask if there's a chain near you. Are you familiar with Dave's Cosmic Subs?
No.
That's not a thing?
No.
It might just be a Cleveland area thing. It just popped in my head when I said Cleveland, so I'm thinking
what makes
about
them cosmic? Guys are just into weed.
Well, let me show you. This is
You're going to turn this
on.
You can't turn it around. You can technically share the screen, but I don't know if you know how.
Fuck it. I'll show you later.
Okay.
The guy looks cosmic is what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, then that answers the question.
That's where it comes from. But anyway, continue. So gym update. You're back in the gym.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm back in the gym. I was off for like a month because of Gia's schedule with summer. And I was going at night, but going at night sucks. And, so I'm back in it normal. I'm in there for my full amount of time doing my business. Kids are starting to come back, so it's getting crowded in there, which is wild. Yeah. There's a story I told you yesterday that I don't think I should tell on the pod that was very funny.
Wait, no, I want you to tell it. Can you?
I think it's too bad.
Okay.
It's not anything I did.
No,
it's just something I witnessed. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll put it on the Patreon one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, there's like a guy, once the kids come back, you just get these like rowdy dumbasses that are like, what's weird to me is that they're not really working out. The working out in my mind is like a little bit of cardio, a little bit of weights, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of, movement, a little bit of sauna, keep it moving. You know what I mean? You have a little routine. There's a lot of these like younger dudes come in these weird ass outfits. They lift 2 heavy things and then they kind of walk around a lot and then like go into the bathroom and fuss around, but they don't do anything normal. They're not really sauning. Yeah. They're not really showering. It's like they just use this as a space to like run around in.
Yeah, no, I know these guys.
Discovery zone. And there was this kid the other day, comes in the sauna. He's fucking moving around a lot. He's not listening to music. He's not doing anything.
It's a kid,
like,
college
kid. He's like rapping a little bit, and he's just fucking moving a lot. Comes in, dumps an entire water bottle on top of the sauna stones. It is an electric thing. They say there's 3 signs in there that says, please don't put water on this, because they break it. This thing has been broken so many times since I've been there. Yeah. Guy next to me goes, come on, bro, it's electric. What are you like? Why do you think that's a thing? This isn't a movie. You know what I mean? This isn't like a Norwegian sauna that's being lit by fire. You know what I mean? It's just so stupid. And then he immediately walks out. He was in there under 5 minutes. I don't even understand what the point of going into the sauna is if you're going to be in there for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's so you get a lot of these guys around now, which kind of sucks. But to be honest, there's enough people there now that you just kind of you get lost in it.
Yeah.
And there is 2 characters that I wanted to point out. One guy. Eventually I'm going to get caught because somebody's going to be at this gym or they're going to hear it and be the guy I'm talking about. Yeah. There's a guy in he is wearing one of those like, they've custom made a tank top out of a t-shirt, but I'm not talking about just like the arms down to the, where they cut the sleeves down to the thing so you can show off your midsection.
The pecs.
Like, just don't have a shirt at that point. What's the shirt accomplishing?
Yeah.
He's gone more. Like it's now cut off the sides, also down way low. He might as well wear suspenders. Like that's extensively what it is.
Yeah.
So
is he ripped?
He's in okay shape. Yeah, I don't know that he needs to do a full meat display. You know what I mean? But but then on top of it, so he has that shirt on, which is not a shirt. He has like short boxer briefs, and I only know that he's wearing boxer briefs because he has shorts over the top of that. These are hands down the sluttiest shorts I've ever seen in my entire life. There's no short to them. Like it might as well. It's like he's wearing a thong over his boxer briefs. Yeah, and they are. It's a diet. It looks like a Diet Coke. That's what the shorts look like. Yeah, these are definitely like lady shorts. There's nowhere he got these and that's fine if that's his thing. Do your thing.
Yeah.
But then putting them over, it's like he knows these are too slutty for the gym. But if I put boxer briefs underneath, it's like you're just wearing underwear on top of underwear. Yeah. And why they're the Diet Coke thing. And this guy only stretches. He ain't doing anything else. He does like some floor, like body weight stuff. But he's taking up 2 rows on the floor thing because he's making a display of this Diet Coke ass that he's putting everywhere. Dude. So we've got this guy. He's new. I actually like him. He's got a nice energy, to be honest with you. It's wild, but it's like he's not really bothering anyone other than it's just you can't not look at him. Yeah. The other guy that's more important to me is a man that's been coming in and this might be my paramour. This is my guy. Yeah. This is a guy that if all of the things that I was interested in deeply became that I just was doing in public. He is like a skinny guy. He only does the sit-down bike thing, not the stand-up one, the sit on your ass and you're kind of just spinning your legs around. He does that one. He has 2 X's on his hands. Chase, they're tattooed on his hands.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He's got them. So he
thick,
went,
like a thick ass Sharpie one.
Yeah. He went in on straight edge.
Hell yeah.
And he sits there and he's been watching. He just watches things while he does the thing, and he's just watching Emily in Paris.
That show on Netflix.
Yeah. Incredible guy. This is an incredible guy. I want to get to know him. I want to have him on the pod.
Let's have him on the pod.
What else is this guy doing? If this is what he's doing, I mean, this is.
You think he'd be down to joke around a little bit?
I don't. How would I know? I didn't talk. I don't think he's doing this as a bit.
Yeah.
I think this is just the things that he likes on full display, and he's got like an iPhone 26 Plus. You know, so it's like it might as well be an iPad.
Yeah.
He's got the big Apple AirPods, so he's blasting Emily in Paris in his head, and just
sick
straight edge tattoos. Fucking rules. That guy.
Hell yeah.
I love this guy. So I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get him on the pod.
Yeah. No, I would love to. I would legitimately love to have some characters on.
Yeah.
We have our fashion people on. We have industry people on. We've had a couple of our friends on. I have a friend that I want to have on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I want to have some unique characters on.
Or Babyface.
Bussy would be. I can hit my boy Bussy up, but there's nothing he won't talk about. He does data security and shit. He's not.
Well,
we could talk video games with Bussy, but that'd be about it. You know what I mean? He hasn't done about it. Doesn't care about any of this shit. This is silly. You know what I mean?
See what combos he knows in Street Fighter.
Yeah, Bussy was our boy. He kind of led our clans, and he was good. He was good at video games. But anyway, I want that guy in the pod, bro.
Yeah.
You know who you're describing?
Love his energy.
My old roommate Mike.
It's very much like that, but
man.
Maybe less toxic masculinity, but yeah.
He would
not that there's none. He still has straight edge tattoos. It's in there somewhere. He's not.
Yeah.
I just love the idea of just being like, yeah, fuck it, man. I go to the gym, got my straight edge tattoos out, watching Emily in Paris, just fuck the world.
Don't bother me, you know? Yeah.
I like this guy a lot.
Mike would he's a new character. He would do circuit workoots at the house.
Oh my God. I bet his form was terrible.
Bro, he had like a whole system, but he would do like, ooh, just taking a little breather. Just did a set. And go back and do another set of benching 45 minutes later, and then it was like he would space out a couple of workouts over like an entire day and be like, that's not how it works, dude.
Yeah, he is not sweating.
God bless him though. That's a man doing his own thing, so God bless.
Yeah. Besides really all that's going on at the gym, but a couple interesting characters have been around, so I wanted to bring you up to date. Let's see what else is going on.
I wanted to talk about something we talked about this morning.
You want to talk about the Oasis reunion? Is that what you wanted to get
Wait, no.
Everyone's talking about this. Do you have any affiliation? Because I don't understand what people's fascination with this band is, if I'm being
I have this much affiliation with Oasis.
Yeah,
0.
Like Wonderwall. You know Wonderwall.
I would have known that that's an Oasis song, but that's where it would have ended. Is the Gallaghers in Oasis? Mm-hmm. I know them because they're tangentially related to fashion, or no?
Somehow. But I don't. This is what I wanted to get at. I do not understand how. Is it all because the one guy wears Stone Island and one time wore engineered garments? Because I don't feel like that's enough to cement you as like a style icon, but apparently has.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know
They've got
nothing
a fun
about
energy.
Oasis.
I like their naughty energy. I like, you know what I mean. But it also feels like a bit. You know what I mean? It feels like they're like a Sesame Street character. That like they're extensively like doing Oscar the Grouch in real life, and you're just like, okay. I mean, it's like the first couple clips are funny when they interact with the kids, and ha ha ha, you know, he's a Grouch. Yeah. And like I think that they were cool in their time, but I don't know what we're doing now. It's not like they're putting out a ton of new music. I'm not sure the music has really been that good since the 90s. I just don't get it.
I think it's just one of those things.
Somebody convince me. You know our thing. Strong opinions loosely held. When I hear like all this buzz about they're doing a bunch of tour dates or whatever, I'm like, okay, so it sounds like they had bills to pay. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, they get along now. It's like, their brother, get over it. Could you possibly actually be angry about? You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're so angry because we have so much money. And what are we doing? You know what I mean?
I put this in the category of it loosely is happening in the quote unquote. How would you define zeitgeist? What is that?
I mean that works.
A particular period. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are loosely being mentioned in the zeitgeist, and people feel the need to be part of an in crowd. So now they're making their identity. We're going to
get yelled at about this.
Good, because I stand by it. Now all of a sudden, I'm a massive Oasis fan. I've never heard anybody ever fucking talk about Oasis. The Wonderwall is a song that's in fucking Adam Sandler movies, and you're gonna. I don't care.
Is that true? Do you have like a reference you're using?
I would assume. I just feel like that's what it is.
So specific, like you knew what it was from, but I don't know if that's true.
I'm just tired of people developing new personality traits around things that happened long ago just because other people had some sort of emotional attachment and they want to as well. I don't care.
Like being really into RuneScape.
Well, at least I fucking played it for fucking years and I know all the lore. And like that's true to me, whether nerdy or not. Fair. I own it and it's true.
I will agree that it does seem like a thing that people have like. It's like maybe you liked a couple of their music videos in like the early 2000s or something, but you didn't think much else of it. It's not like you had the shirts or anything. And not to say that that's not okay to be like, oh, I've rediscovered a thing. Great, But it does feel like it's like, now that's my personality. Like, I like that thing because it looks like it looks aesthetic to me now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, but like, what connection did you have to it in the first place? Like, I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying is, now listen, I don't care.
They're also like they're a figure that's sort of like been on pause since then. It's not like they've done so many different things I'm saying. Then. So it's not like you've been like keeping up with it now.
Yeah, and certainly I'm not keeping up because I don't care. But it does seem to me like there's an influx of Oasis fans.
They've got hits. I'm not saying they don't have hits. I like they play, I don't know. This is like it feels like if somebody was like suddenly like a fashion like a Zendaya wore a Wilco shirt and then everyone's like, fuck, I've been
fuck, my uncle's from Chicago.
And listen, like I like some of those records just fine, but I just don't need to like wear a
I think
Jeff
Wilco's
Tweedy shirt.
Inoffensive, and I like when we would play it at the store because it was not fucking 90s rap, which I think is god awful and I hate even more than anything else I can imagine. Yeah. So it was the better of two options that I didn't care about.
Yeah.
And I just wish more people would just be okay with just like, it's fine. Like, just because something's happening in the world doesn't mean you have to participate.
100%. I to be honest with you, I want someone to change my mind. Someone show me the live video where I'm like, damn, like I get it now. You know what I mean? But like, and like I said, I think they have hits. They've got songs. I know the main ones. You know what I mean? Like I know some.
I know what I've heard in an Adam Sandler movie.
And,
sure,
it's made up. I got to know which one that you're thinking.
It's a scene of Drew Barrymore crying lovingly with her friends.
He's done a lot of Drew Barrymore ones. You talking about the one where they go on the African safari?
I was just saying in general.
Yeah.
I was just saying in general.
You know what? It feels like he's done enough movies and they've been popular for long enough that almost inevitably there is some scene. I feel like it's more Big Daddy era than anything else, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and listen,
we've been talking about Adam Sandler a lot.
He's putting out. Did you watch that new special he put out?
No, I will eventually.
We'll watch it too.
The one where he did the Chris Farley thing made me cry a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I grew up with that being like a thing, like Lunch Ladyland and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I love that shit.
I definitely knew Chris Farley
because we loved SNL. So
yeah,
especially that era.
Yeah, I'm interested in watching this Adam Sandler Love You thing though, because I was telling Michelle, it's like that man, more than anybody else that you can think of, is doing his own fucking thing. He's wearing some fucking ratty little sweatpants in a random color, some flower shirt underneath a hoodie, and sunglasses and a hat, and he's singing songs on the guitar. He's just doing his own thing. Anyway, the Oasis thing. People are going to not be happy about it, but I stand by it. Just do the things that you like because you like them, not because the rest of the world is doing it, and I think you'll be happier as a person.
Like you're saying, not because it's in the our current lexicon. Like you don't need to participate just because it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the amount of like Oasis merch and shit is like demented at this point. I mean, like I feel like everyone's got one in their closet.
I think you hit the nail on the head with the Zendaya wearing a Wilco shirt. All of a sudden, you'd hear so many people that love Wilco who didn't own a T-shirt and have never spun a Wilco record.
And listen, I'm not the guy who's like, oh, you're wearing the band shirt, you got to name 4 songs or whatever the fuck.
I don't give a shit about that.
I don't care. Dude.
No.
I almost would prefer to be like, yeah, the logo rips. And I'm like, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. That's a cool T-shirt.
I just want you to own it for I want you to own it in the way that is true.
Yeah, you
Meaning
don't have to.
you got influenced by the
it.
public, and you want to be part of a thing, so you did that, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But don't try to pass it off as you had some sort of connection.
It's the reason I think we are so naturally drawn to the guy with straight edge tattoos watching Emily in Paris at the gym on the sit down.
Doing
cycle.
his own thing.
You're just doing your shit, man. Like, that is 100% you. I don't think you'd lie about anything to me. You
unabashedly, you don't care.
And I think this is something that comes with age, to be fair. You know, but
the being comfortable to be yourself.
Yeah. It's really like I just can't.
It's what I respect in people most. I think that it's the thing that I recognize. One of the first things, you know, obviously setting determines how your influence on how a person influences you, etc. But like, if I see a person who's just unabashedly doing their thing, I'm like, well, that at least I know that's a real part of you. Yeah, and that's what I think is cool. Like we have a buddy who had a girlfriend years and years ago that would do couponing with her mom, and it's like cool. She would always talk about it and
knows
shit.
the most about it.
Hey, that's like a weird thing, but you just own it. And it's not something that your peers are doing, but you own it. And that's what's cool.
It's sort of like what we talked to Vic about in this will be an upcoming. Yeah. Vic Michaelis, we talked to her, in an upcoming episode. It's like, I really am interested in people who are legitimately passionate about specific things. Not to be funny, not as a bit. These are just things that you truly care about because it's there for some reason. You know what I mean? It's
you with guitar pedals, which it's niche, but not like the most niche thing you're into. But it's like me with my fruit and being interested in where I can get it. And it's just all of those things that make a person unique that's actually interesting to me, not how much can they participate in what the public is doing as in mass. I don't, that instantly is not cool or interesting in any regard.
It's kind of like whenever I ask somebody like what their favorite movie is like, I want to know what you've watched the most. I don't really, what you think is the best movie is just, there's certain classifications of films that are going to get put in a certain category. They can't really be argued with, you know what I mean? But that doesn't make you interesting for knowing about those films. They are considered some of the best movies of all time because they are the best movies of all time. It's not a unique opinion to like that thing. No. But
like you saying, and I'm sure the people out there's favorite movie is Titanic. You know what I mean? But like, we all know Titanic's a good movie. I've never seen it, so I would never say it's my favorite movie. But I guarantee there are people out there who have seen it one time and know that it's a soundbite that'll get some ears at a dinner. And it's like, well, I think Titanic's the best movie. And it's
I actually think that might actually be sort of a divisive answer to a certain degree. So I like that maybe if you knew like a lot of Titanic facts and stuff.
I was picking out a movie that I know is generally accepted as a good movie that I haven't seen.
Have I talked in here about when I did the like art fair or like the art thing when I was a kid? I was very interested in Titanic when it came out, simply because the music video basically had the sex scene in it, and I wasn't allowed to watch that. So, but I really wanted to see the movie because it seemed cool, and I liked big movies.
What do you mean by music video?
Celine Dion, a music video that would be on MTV a lot.
That song was made for Titanic?
This seems... People are going to be watching and thinking you're doing a bit that you don't know the Celine Dion Titanic song.
I'm sure I know the song, but what I'm saying is...
My Heart Will Go On.
That song was manufactured for Titanic. It wasn't like she made...
Is this the first time you're hearing about a movie soundtrack? Yeah. She made a song that was like in the movie, and then there was a music
If you would have said, what's the name of the song?
I think it's called My Heart Will Go On.
If you would have said My Heart Will Go On, I wouldn't have known that was a Titanic song. I would have just thought it was part of the discography of Celine Dion. You know what I'm saying?
It is, and it's also the Titanic song.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. This is a crazy conversation. Anyway, so I was really into it, and there was like, at my school, you had to enter this sort of like, you could do a science project, or a way out of that, basically, to me, because I didn't know anything about science, was you could enter the art competition thing. So I was like, I'll do that. And here's what I did, my lazy ass. Went home, drew a picture of the Titanic because it's what I was interested in. I had never seen the Titanic. I'd not seen the movie. I didn't know anything about it and did zero research. So I drew a big boat, wrote Titanic on this. This is in pencil, mind you. I didn't even like put pen on top of that. I didn't color it in. I didn't do anything. And I only drew it with 3 smokestacks. It had notoriously had like 4, I think, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, this just looked like any boat you could ever imagine.
Hell yeah.
And I just drew it big on a big piece of paper, didn't frame it, didn't do anything, just brought the sketchbook and put it on the easel. And I did not win. And I got like a bad rating on it.
Hey.
So that's my experience with the Titanic. But I am interested if someone like knew a lot of information about the Titanic, like a lot of facts. That is interesting to me. And I think that one of the things I'm most scared of in life is like watching any sort of video where they're deep underwater and you don't know what they're going to see. Like even talking about it freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it really bothers me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see anything about it. I don't want any part of it.
I like consuming underwater media.
I hate it.
That reminded me, I want to say 2 things. We watched a movie this weekend. I want to talk about that real quick because what you just said about underwater works for that. I want to talk about...
just talk about it.
Well, I just want to lay them out so I don't forget. Movie, science fair, shit. I forgot the other thing. I don't have anything else. It might surprise you or not surprise you to know I won the science fair 2 years in elementary school.
Well, you're competing with Abby, who's gone to like Washington D.C. and stuff.
Yeah, see, I never made it past the second round.
She's like a big deal in the science fair world.
That's tight. I want to talk to her about what experiments she did. I remember one of them, but I don't remember the other. And then we can talk about the movie because I want to get into this a little bit more, and then we can move on to another topic. But what I was going to say is, in regard to the zeitgeist or regard to things that are generally accepted as good and special and important, I did try reading. I want to say the author is Kerouac. Is he the one who types in that clipped speak? Yeah, like
beat poet. Yeah,
couldn't do it. So
was this recently?
This was when I first moved here. My old roommate had On the Road or something, and I remember I was like, "Oh, that maybe I'll find myself somewhere in there." You know what I mean? I know that has meant a lot to a lot of people. And I said, "Who the fuck is reading this? Who is reading it in this fucking coded speak?" It's like it's awful. So maybe I'm just so dumb. But I want to stand by my statement there, too, of being like, just fucking write it normal, man. You wouldn't even talk that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you developed a new way of typing out words that is better than how you would communicate with another human with your mouth. Hated that. I'm already pissed off thinking about it again. So anyway, I said science fair. I said that.
Kerouac's really on the hit list.
No, I mean, and the thing is, I think... in imagery and aesthetic and, if you could capture the essence of the lifestyle of what his
did you try any other beatnik writers?
I got 2-3 pages in and was like, I'll never retain this information. It's coded speak and I've spent my entire life speaking English and I can't read that fucking book.
Speaking English.
So like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Moving on. Brondo, we watched Longlegs. Whoa! Yeah. I liked it.
You liked it?
I know that people. I know people felt. I feel like in terms of seeing the Discord talk about it, more people were like, I felt a little disappointed, and I actually don't. I felt that I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know what that feedback was. Like, you wanted it to be scary. It's not. It like is obviously meant to be a horror movie to a certain degree, but it's not. It's like I didn't go into like 7 and be like, I want this to scare the pants off me. It wasn't like that. It's more just like creepy and creating like a tone that
the tone, really the vibe, the tension. The tension is thick.
I think the writing was a little flawed. I didn't really need the demonic shit at the end. It kind of didn't like the devil worship shit at the end. It just didn't. It didn't like.
It's accurate for the time, though. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's probably trying
Satanic
to touch
panic kind of shit.
Yeah, but it's not really like. I don't know.
Or am I wrong in era?
I think that it's like a little messy at the end. Is the God's honest? Like I think the ending was a little messy, but other than that,
skip ahead 2 minutes because I'm going to say something if you don't want to hear any spoilers. But like,
here's the other thing. I think you and I have also talked a lot about. I like movies that have a vibe, and I like that movies that force you to sit in vibe for a long time.
What's the one you recommended from Ty West? House of the Devil?
House of the Devil, yeah.
The whole movie is just vibe. It's just tension.
Fair, if you haven't, I mean, obviously now that he's done X Pearl and Maxine and all that, even if you take those to the side and you watch like Innkeepers or Sacrament or any of those, like if he's really good at that, of really focusing on like a vibe or time period and also a nod to cinema. So it almost feels like it's a little, meta in that way that it knows that it's a 90s movie or it's supposed to be like a 90s movie. So it's using tropes and cinema styles and things like that at the time, even like writing styles.
Yeah.
Like he really nails like all the details.
Color grading, editing. Yeah.
I mean, even like the Innkeepers has a dialogue that feels like it'd be from a 90s movie. Like it's like a little clunky and you can
maybe we'll watch that tonight.
It's on purpose. Innkeepers is really good. I think you'd really like The Sacrament. Honestly,
we've talked about these. I just need to watch them.
Those are really good. I mean, everything he's worked on really has been pretty good.
I thought the movie was dope. I thought the weird, like when he says like I put my long legs on or something. Like it's like his character is so hauntingly scary, and like you're not sure what his vibe is. The makeup is crazy good. I like the story, and I like the whole black veil thing. When you connect.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, skip ahead, guys. It just all whatever. It's out. Fuck it. I'm talking about it. It's our podcast, so we're gonna talk about it. When the movie starts and it's that the first scene where it's behind the house and he hides behind the house and says cuckoo and this and that. You know what I mean? And then the next scene starts and it's the main girl, right? At first, I was like, oh, that was her, right? And then the movie goes on and they do X amount of things to kind of lead you to believe that's not her. And then it all circles back and she's behind the sheet, I really enjoyed the movie. And I think Nick Cage is fucking good. I know he's a meme, but he also is like...
Well, I think that he started to play into character a bit more of like his true nature. I mean, if you watch old videos of him, he is like very erratic. Yeah. So having a character, and this is what I love about like horror movies when it's more like it's creating the tension more than it's about just being scary or violent or anything like that. I'm really not interested in that all that much.
Well, because you had said like, listen, there are a couple of jump scares, but when you said you're underwater and you're not sure what you're going to see, you had mentioned on the pod, you're like, there's so many scenes where, it'd be framed here and here's the person, but there's all this negative space and you're like, someone's going to walk through that door. Yeah. Someone is in that other room or what is going to happen? Yeah. And like,
that's a classic horror movie like trope of like making you believe that you know better. And just the way they lined up, I mean, especially when they go to like the place where she's staying, and you're just like, God, this feels awful to be here.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it just,
the wooden house.
I didn't want to be there. Oh. I didn't want to be in the house. I didn't want to be outside of the house. You don't want to be anywhere in the scene. Yeah. And I think that when you create that kind of space, it's so good. And I think I'm sure a lot of what people are responding to is the marketing was so effective that it's easy. Marketing being effective can also lead to letdowns.
Higher expectations. Where I took in the trailer twice probably, and I was just excited to watch a weird movie. I don't have expectations around horror because it's not a genre I typically love, but I do appreciate when you can sit in a weird vibe. Like towards the end of the movie when he does that, like, I can come back if you let me in, it'll be nice, or I can come back as me. And he sings it, and he's like, it's like haunting, dude. It like really is terrifying.
The car scene where he suddenly freaks the fuck out and starts yelling.
Like, so good.
Yeah,
so
anyway, he's really like you really feel his energy being like, that's what's scary about it, is you don't know what he's gonna do next.
He's very erratic. Or in the tool shop when he puts his hands over his eyes, like in the trailer, and when that plays out, and you're like, dude, that's really, it shook me. You know what I mean? Like that's more scary to me. Building that vibe, building this world that you're part of for that period of time, rather than having something shoot towards the camera and look like, and you jump scare kind of thing. Like that doesn't.
Speaking of finally, it sounds like we're finally going to get the proper unedited, proper transfer and everything of Blair Witch Project, which will hopefully come back to theaters. Which
for real?
Amazing. Yeah.
You want to go to that?
I'd love to go to it because this has never been released. He's complained for years about this to director that it didn't get transferred the right way. Things didn't look the way it was supposed to.
Meaning, he didn't have full say.
I don't know all the details. It has something to do with like how they transferred the filmed. I mean the video to film and all these things that was supposed to happen and it didn't happen. It's what ends up getting released. It's what ended up going to DVD. It's what people are familiar with when they see the movie, and it's not.
So the main intention is not how it came to fruition,
according to him. Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting because I've only seen it once too, bro. I would like to watch it.
I think it's the best horror movie of all time, especially if you factor in like I'm old enough to remember the marketing of it and how like freaky it was and how like just you're never gonna have something like it again where it used a website that was also strange, like it was kind of like an initial like ARG or something, and like it just all felt so real that because it could, and I don't think that can happen anymore.
See, I don't remember any of the marketing. I remember the name, and I remember being like, it's a really scary movie, and me being like, I don't want to see that. I was probably. What year did that come out, you think?
I was young when the only reason I knew about it and have saw the trailers and stuff is because my friend, like we talked about this, had a much older stepbrother.
Yeah.
So we were familiar because they were all talking about it. So we thought it was cool. Yeah. So anyway, I liked it a lot. I mean, do I think it was a perfect movie? No, but it was one of the better.
Would I recommend
movies
it?
I've seen a lot in a while. Yeah.
If you have any interest, you should go watch it. Sorry if I spoiled anything, but also, you know how many times things have been spoiled for me, and then by the time you get to actually watching the thing, you forget. So I'm sorry,
sort of like.
Whatever.
I could, when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to spoil it for you," I'm like, "You can tell me I don't." Like, why would that make me not want to watch it? That would, if anything, that would make me want to watch it more. You know, that doesn't bother me personally. Plus, I don't think that was really anything. I don't think he really said anything that was that big of a spoiler.
No, and also this is going to lead into another thing: is often if somebody spoils things, it's like, well, depending when you told me, I wasn't going to remember it anyway with all
I've forgotten what the details were.
All the weed and shit too. You know,
told it like shit. You know?
We are on a weed break again. I'm on another weed break.
Okay.
So, just doing edibles. I was waiting for that. Just doing edibles because here's the thing, man. Still, like, still can help us sleep.
So dumb. We're on a weed break. Edibles. It's like, so you're not. So you really don't need to label it all. You're just doing it differently.
Yeah, I just didn't buy any weed itself. So anyway, I'll report back on the efficacy of that and how much I like it. But so
I don't like that you don't know what's going to happen until it happens. I can't. It's too different every time.
Edibles?
Yeah.
At this point, I'm only in them before we get into bed and just to help me sleep a little bit, so I don't fucking roll around for a while.
But let's answer a couple of questions because I think we have some that we haven't been on top of. So let's take a look at these.
How much? What are we time wise?
We're fine.
Okay.
We can't go forever, but we're fine. Let's see here. Did we ever do this one? Things you used to enjoy but no longer like?
If we did, I don't remember it, and I'm sure that I would have different answers.
Or the other way around, like you suddenly rediscovered an enjoyment for something that you put away for a while. I can't remember if we answered this or not. I don't know if we did.
No, there's a couple things that jump out to me. Do you have anything in particular? Things you used to enjoy that you no longer like? Mm-hmm. It's maybe a little tough because sign painting would be one. I remember. Maybe we did have this conversation.
Did we have this conversation already?
Because I remembered. I can retrace my thought, but long story short, I did it for money. It became too overwhelming. I worked with great clients, and I worked with clients who had poor vision, and it kind of took the mystique and the fun and the art aspect out of it, and it became something I hated. So that would be the first thing I think of. When you try to make you do it for money, that's what
to work. It gets complicated. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not. I think that's like I've always said. I never want to do music for money. No. It just kills it so much for me. I just have no interest in that. So I get that.
Yeah.
I think like for me, it's like, and I'm still actively working on this and it's like hard for me. It's like, I really don't like being negative about things. I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's fine to have like an opinion like we're doing.
You're saying
for fun,
you don't want to be, you're saying moving forward, you're trying to be less negative about things.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in it.
I like that for you, Brondo.
You know what I mean? Like, I just am not. It's not doing me any good. It's not doing anybody else any good. No one likes it.
We've talked about this.
People think it's funny. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but like, it's not worth it for a bit. You know?
No. And for the record, I fully agree that it's not. We've talked about this. You're putting that out now. However woo woo or however spiritually you want to take that, be my guest, but. And I don't consider myself a terribly spiritual person at all, but I do think there's something to be said about if the only shit you're doing is being negative, as I'm going on a diatribe about hating fucking Titanic and shit. I stand by those statements.
Hold on. Wait, you're now reverting to saying you hate Titanic?
No, sorry.
You've never seen it.
No, I was being negative about Wilco, or I was being negative,
I will say
but I stand by those statements.
But I'll say what you're saying. I don't think that those thoughts that I'm having those are more just observations. It's not really like negative. I don't care what the fuck.
But what you're saying is just being shitty to be shitty finding.
It's just like you kind of get into a zone of being critical of things all the time or negative about things. Not even critical is probably not the right word, but just starting. It's just like once you realize that your brain is always in that space about being negative. That you're probably just attracting negative things, or not attracting. I don't know if I even believe in that. It's probably more you're training your brain to notice only those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I'm trying to retrain it to only notice positive things.
Yeah, what you're grateful for. And
yeah.
I'm with you.
It's like mindfulness to a certain degree, you know what I mean, in that category. But especially as like you have a kid, you really understand like how much of a mirror that you have up to yourself like all the time. And you're like, I don't want this. This is not something I need.
And you don't want to like maybe like take the wind out of her sails for something she likes.
Oh, which I would never do.
You would never, but by inadvertently being negative about a thing, she might observe that and see it and not have the opportunity to enjoy it,
or start thinking that way. And you don't want that. You know what I mean? So it's an incredibly difficult skin to shed because you just don't realize like how much your brain is probably in that space a lot of the time. But I think it's also, I mean, like we just talked about, you and I are both probably overly not negative people, but because I feel like you and I are people who feel things more than we should. It's hard to not have both versions. Like I feel equally as like crazy passionate and positive about certain things, and equally as like negative about
totally.
And I just don't want.
I'm with you, and I'm trying to find more of a middle ground and to be less polarized.
Yeah.
Less polarly charged about anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have. Everything is the best. But it doesn't have to be the best. I can just enjoy a thing. Or it doesn't have to be the worst. I can just not enjoy a thing. You know what I mean? And again, I want to circle back. I stand by what I was saying with what we are going to call observations. I stand by that.
Yeah. We have a podcast. Like, what else are we supposed to do? You want me to talk about how everything's just okay all the time?
But I'm with you because it does suck to just like shoot shit down or just be like, well, I hate that, or it sucks, or just be negative for no reason. And I'm sure that you're obviously it's been more noticeable having a daughter.
Yeah, I think that like it's like a thing where you really start to notice that really nothing has anything to do with you. You're putting you onto other things, which is making you feel so like like charged by it. And the reality is like it's just people doing dumb shit for themselves. They're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about anybody else either. They're just thinking about themselves, and it really doesn't have anything to do with you. And you can just sort of like be a little bit more blasé about everything. And I think that's better. Like instead of getting worked up about every time someone does something stupid in a car or whatever. I'm not there yet, just to be clear.
No,
it's just something I really don't. I used to kind of think it was like, oh, it's like a personality thing. And it's like, it's not cute though, so maybe it just doesn't need to be.
Hey, I support it, bro. I support it. I like that. I've known you for a long, long time. Yeah. So I support it.
Yeah. So I think that, I don't know if that's the right answer for that thing, but that's what I got.
Our employee, Willie, he talks about his dad sometimes, and he told this story about his dad, which has stuck with me. Similarly to other little nuggets of information that you commit to long-term memory, for one reason or another, it sticks around your brain. Like I say all the time, when you talk about your Italian grandpa and how he would eat, drink, whatever he wanted, but it was always in...
small amounts,
smaller portions, moderation, and I think that's just a life lesson that you can interpolate to a million other things in your life, and it just so happens that's how I was able to receive the information and retain it. And Willie said, he'd be like, I would be like, Dad, I got this, that, and the other going on. I'm stressed, this and that, and he would say, no, you're creating the problem. Simplify and just handle it 1, 2, 3. And like, if you can just like do that, if you can get yourself out of this frantic state and literally just simplify the problem, be like, here's what needs to happen in order for this to happen, 1, 2, 3 will happen, and then the thinking and the anxiety's gone, then you just have the to-do list. That stuck with me too.
Well, like my dad is not an advice machine by any stretch of the imagination, but he did one time when I explained like a complicated work thing that was going on a long time ago. He just was like, you listen to the whole thing. He's like, well, if you don't like the soup, turn over the bowl. And then that was his whole advice. And I remember in the moment being like, that's really annoying. I feel like you oversimplified this complicated problem. But you get away from it like a couple years and you're like, nope, that was the answer. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like you are in control of the outcomes. And if you're going to sit in it, then you've chosen to sit in it. If there's a negative thing going on and you're like, I'm going to, and sometimes it's worth it. I mean, in a lot of cases, I put up with a lot of bullshit for years because I had like a specific vision and I wanted to do a certain thing. And that's what was required, or that's what I at least believed was required to do those things. But you can't be mad at somebody else if you decided to sit in it. You know what I mean, that's your choice. You didn't have to. No one's going to make me do anything. I can walk out of here and you'd never see me again, and that would be a choice I can make and completely move on.
You're perfectly it's within your reasons as a human. You can absolutely do it.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like it really is like as simple and dumb as, and maybe it just takes like perspective to understand that. But I've kind of thought about that a lot throughout my life, where it's just like, I mean, I don't. If I'm going to continue forward, I can't be mad at everyone else about it. You know what I mean? Like, because people are going to do what people do, and it's always going to be frustrating in some different way, but it really has nothing to do with me unless I've decided to push through it because I want something, you know what I mean? Which is my decision, not theirs. So it is an interesting, you know, when you simplify things like that, it's kind of like starting to understand, like, I remember not too long ago, I was thinking about like, you know, like people talk about like, this is going to get a little woo-woo too, but like you start to think about like what your outcomes could potentially be. And if you're always worried or you're always thinking negatively, then that's what's going to happen, because your brain and your body are naturally settling into
that outcome,
to an outcome that hasn't happened yet, and you're just settling. You're doing things and thinking in a way and doing things subconsciously, I think, that are going to create that outcome. You know, because sometimes you're like, oh, what do you want like the business to be in 5 years? And I'm like, oh, I hope it's this, or I think, you know, I'm worried about this, or, you know, blah blah blah. You're gonna think and behave and act, I think, without making any active decision. It's like, you know, if I suddenly out of nowhere dropped you from 20 feet, your body's going to tense into a thing because it knows it's going to hit the ground. You know what I mean? I think that's what you're doing subconsciously, where you're deciding that something is going to be a certain way, and because it's easier, because it's your dumb brain is going, I need to know what the outcome is because I'm the smartest person in the world, and it's not.
I know better than everybody. Yeah,
and you need to create in your mind that, like, what am I going to do? I know this is so dumb and oversimplified, but like, what am I going to do when this works out? How will it feel when it works out? What space will I be in? Where you really start to like kind of visualize what that looks like. And I think that if I can get my brain to feel that way most of the time, like be basically 90% optimistic, like realistic, but optimistic at the same time, I just think then things just kind of start to work out a little bit easier. And anything that doesn't work out is completely out of your hands anyway. And it's in whatever bad situation I've created, because I more than most people, I think I have 18 arguments in my head so that I've accommodated every possible negative outcome. But I never think of the positive outcome. I never go, what if it's like the answer is this, and then it's so easy, and then that's great. I never prepare for that. I always prepare for the worst and nothing else. So I think that you naturally fall into those states. Or if you sit around and be like, I'm very unlucky, I'm not the luckiest person, and you're like, that might be true, but it also might be true because you've already pre-decided that that's the thing. Yeah. So I think about that. I don't remember what the phrase or, you know, thing I listened to or heard or read or whatever it was, but that one sticks with me a lot in the past like 3 years of like and it's hard because I think that you want to be like, I'm going to change my mind today and it'll all be easy from here.
When I walk out of this door, I won't have to think about that anymore. It's rectified and handled.
You have to literally, it's kind of like going to therapy. You have to like, it's not about the hard parts of therapy or having those conversations or anything like that. That's not the hard part. The hard part is to go, I'm thinking about something now. I'm digesting it, and I'm going to start doing it the new way. I'm going to start being aware all the time of how I'm reacting and what I'm putting out into the world. It's like, that's the part that's hard because it takes a really long time to make a good change. So, but it's like anything. It's like if it's going to be a habit, then you just got to start thinking that way and then not letting yourself fall out of it, and also not beating yourself up when you do, you know, inevitably find yourself in the shower having an argument that's never going to happen. Yeah. You know, so it's like a tough thing to do, but I feel like that's, you know, it's what I'm working on now in my adult life.
Hey, I like it.
Hard stuff.
It really is hard. It really is hard. But there is, like you said, I don't know. The older I get, I feel less. I feel that I reject woo-woo or spirituality.
I don't think I reject anything at this point. I don't care. There's a little bit to everything, I think. You know, I mean, there's like a little bit.
I'm more open to it, is what I'm saying. Like, and also, you know what? We've talked about this briefly of like consuming media that might not be exactly what it is you're typically consuming. Listen to this podcast of some dudes that are like definitely on the more like Christian tip from a documentary I watched, and I like to hear what they talk about because I think it's funny, like Southern dudes. But anyway, they're really like spiritual. And it's interesting if you can remove church and Christianity from the equation
religion aspect of it, yeah.
But like the lessons and like what it is that it's portraying is just being a better person and
all this is
for
everything
your community
in moderation, dude. You know, it's the same.
It is.
It's the same.
It just is.
Thing. Like
it just
not
is.
everything has to be an extreme. I think people that live in not extremes are the ones living in a much better place because you're like you're leaving all your doors in your house open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of think about that like the best my house can feel is when every window is open and there's stuff going on and it's open and it feels fresh and you know what I mean?
Alive and
everything can come in, everything can go out.
Yeah.
I think that if you can kind of create that energy in your insides, that's the better way to be. Where I don't hear something and immediately go, nope, not letting it in. Like that's silly. What's it going to hurt me to hear something? And maybe you take some, like we're saying, everything that we just mentioned were all these like little nuggets. They're not big. They weren't big things. They were things I read quickly or heard from somebody, and they almost feel overly simplified, but that's kind of the stuff that ends up sticking with me more than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. I 100% agreed.
You never know what somebody's going to say or do, whether they come from the same background as you or it's completely different. You know, if anything, that's probably better. You know, because you've heard the versions that you're going to hear from your world.
Yeah, and like I don't identify with like most of what they're talking about or saying, but I think it's interesting to hear the other perspective. You know what I mean? Or not even the other perspective, meaning there's a one or two. It's not binary. It's just taking in information that is not the same that I would hear through my other things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I do. All right, let's move on. I'm just gonna go through these in order. Yeah. This one, I love that somebody did this. They just didn't. They didn't think this is even a question. They just wanted to put down what their favorite drinks are from the categories that we talked about with. Why am I blanking? Allison. Yeah. Yep. So I'll read them. Favorite plain sparkling water, purely Sedona. Couldn't agree more. I've said this a million times. Yep. That's got the smallest bubbles. That is the finest.
There was some other one that you and Allison mentioned in that podcast in particular that I just recently saw, high-end glass sparkling water from
which
Whole
one
Foods or something. I saw it recently and I was like, oh, that makes sense. This is
I don't remember which one it was, but yeah.
Anyway,
when you go Sedona. Up there, favorite flavored sparkling water, Spindrift Blood Orange Tangerine. Not had it. I like Spindrift. I like that it's just real stuff in there, but I don't know. I don't like crave it. I just don't get it that often.
Did you, by chance? I know you're not a seltzer. I'm not sure how much Abby drinks. Did you see the new LaCroix flavor, strawberry peach? It's good. It's a juice, bro. It's not a very.
They all of a sudden, all of it, even plain, tastes too acidic to me now. I'm just drinking spring water.
I'm trying to drink. We're drinking Brita water.
I've been drinking it out of like flower vases around the house because I want it big. They're cleaned, obviously, but I want a big thing, and I want to fill it with ice, and then I want to put water in it, and then it just kind of keeps melting, and I just do it all day. Yeah. I love it. I told Abby, I was like, I like this better than any drink I could have in here.
Yeah. The ice changes it.
I had a collagen tea recently. It was pretty good. Favorite flat water, Aquapana. This was a missed one, I think. We fucked up not saying Aquapana. Aquapana is very good. Drink I wish would come back. Gatorade, Mike's favorite flavor, citrus cooler. We probably should have had that on the list. You have to like that. Space Jam flavor.
I don't know that.
Yeah. You look it up. You'll know it. Isn't it Space Jam? Mike's favorite flavor, citrus cooler. You got it pulled up there?
Hold on.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
I typed in Space Jam Gatorade, and it's the image of Bugs Bunny holding the water bottle that says the secret stuff, and he hands it to, I think Daffy goes, well, bottoms up. I remember asking my grandma.
He sprays it into his bill, and I think about that a lot. I've done that in life. Try to do it on the roof of my mouth just the way he did it because it feels like it would hit right.
You saying that just confirms that you know. I remember looking at my grandma and be like, what does he mean by bottoms up? What's it mean? Yeah. We couldn't.
I love that this was your rosebud, which you're not gonna. It's like your Citizen Kane. Like this drew out the most questions in you. It drew out the inspiration.
It definitely did. And in fact, there's another thing that I couldn't figure out as a kid. Isn't it funny how you can remember the first time you learned words? The word symmetry. You remember his assistant.
Yeah.
The chaotic fella.
Yeah.
And
from Jurassic Park?
Exactly. And he's doing something, and they're trying to get Michael Jordan from one place to another, and he has to drive him and this, that, and the other. And he goes, something, symmetry. And I remember being like, what's he mean by symmetry? And he's saying, like, it needed to be symmetrical in how the cars were arriving or otherwise. Long story short, it begged a lot of questions for me as a kid. There were a lot of things that were life lessons from Space Jam.
Okay. Next one, Gosling or Gyllenhaal? This one's kind of easy for me, if I'm being honest with you. So it says, who has the better filmography? Who is better for what kind of film? Who would you rather play in your biopic or biopic? Okay, so who's your better filmography? I feel like that's Gyllenhaal.
It's Gyllenhaal, bro.
No question.
Yeah.
He's got a more well-rounded.
Think of the things he's done from Donnie Darko as a child, just in terms of things that have made a splash, right? Donnie Darko, and then he can do things like Brokeback Mountain, which is a completely different direction. Yeah. He can do Nightcrawler, where he's emaciated and plays a creepy little.
I think that's
guy.
My favorite character he's ever played.
He can do Southpaw, where he's fucking ripped out of his mind. Prisoners, which is one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie, where he's a cop with a cool haircut and. In rural Pennsylvania around Thanksgiving time.
Zodiac. End of Watch was good. I mean, I'm not.
Oh yeah, End of Watch is gas
but
too.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, it's like he's done a lot of like interesting things, whereas like Gosling's kind of doing a lot of the same shit.
Gosling's cool, man.
Yeah, he's cool.
Is he a sexy guy who can look cool in any outfit with?
Do I think he could be a better, if you're talking about old Hollywood leading man? Gosling all day, no question.
He's got the Americana, chiseled jaw, strong, but so does Gosling or Gyllenhaal. I think to answer the question, who do you want to play in your biopic? Gyllenhaal. He's got more range, in my opinion.
Does he though?
For me,
fucking Gosling's kind of ripping it. I mean, like doing Barbie, which is like a difficult, however you feel about the movie, that's a difficult role to do well, and he does do it well. And he's funny.
I don't know, but yeah,
he's funnier than Gyllenhaal. Well, I don't know, because I mean, like that Gyllenhaal playing, I don't forget the guy, the xylophone guy in Sack Lunch Bunch, the John Mulaney thing for the kids, where he's like it's so good.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Like I don't know. It's a tough call, but I think that like as far as like the filmography that I like better, it's Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. I would agree.
Not that Gosling doesn't have great things. Like
I love Gosling movies, but I've rewatched many Gyllenhaal movies, and I really like him. I think he's cool.
Yeah,
he was on Armchair Expert, I believe, not that long ago.
He's very he's like a serious actor, but then at the same time he's been choosing some dog shit roles lately. So I don't know.
Yeah, he
that
definitely.
Agent,
there's been some roles that I don't love him in, but he definitely is like theater guy. He's like a learned actor.
I gotta be honest with you though, Gosling might have less duds. Then Gyllenhaal has duds. He was just in fucking Roadhouse. He was in that other Michael Bay movie.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, he was in a movie with Conor McGregor's dumbass.
Gosling might make better choices
later in his career.
I don't know. Maybe we're split on that. Okay, What about who's better for what kind of film? Gyllenhaal can play dark. Gosling can't play dark. I don't care what they say. I mean, Blue Valentine because it's sad, but that's just the writing.
It's not dark. And Place Beyond the Pines, not dark.
That's just Gosling doing his Drive character better than he did in Drive.
Is Drive dark? Yeah.
Kinda.
It's
also
but would Gyllenhaal have crushed it in that movie? Yeah.
Maybe
he would have
been better.
Knocked it out of the park. I gotta plug my laptop in, dog.
Can you use mine? How much do you have?
No, I got 10. We're good.
Okay, let me know if it gets lower. We can go through the last ones quick.
No, Gyllenhaal would have fucking smashed Drive. With that silly little jacket that Reddit kids wear.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys wearing that stupid scorpion jacket.
They're in the fedora, the fingerless driving gloves and shit. Milady.
Can I say something? I don't think Drive's that good. I think it's mid.
I like Drive. I definitely like Drive.
Place Beyond the Pines. Even the short while he's in it, I think the whole movie's good. But I think that's a better 20 minutes than Drive is as a whole movie.
So I need to watch the second half of Place Beyond the Pines because it has that dude.
You never watched it?
One time, but I've watched the.
I mean, I think the whole arc is interesting.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. Anyway, okay. Who would you rather play you in a biopic? Probably Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal has like a cool, like the way he looked in Nightcrawler is cool.
Dude,
he looked so cool.
I swear to God, Prisoner, how he has the shaved slick back straight?
Oh, I know.
I went and got that haircut the next day.
Yeah.
I went and saw it and got the haircut the next day.
I idea around excursion episodes. Yeah, we should do this.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Yeah,
We're
good on. People still love our road episodes. Okay, here we got one. Are you in Discord right now?
I can be.
Not a question, just a request for Timbo's reaction to this. I love when someone sends me something like this. This is Sydney Sweeney. You know her?
We watched. I haven't seen all of her famous movies, but me and Michelle watched that movie where she is a whistleblower.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that's a movie that I can also dig because it's just dialogue. It's just talking. And it's sick. I love those kind of movies.
I like it too. So Sydney Sweeney pairing Hey Dudes with Celine.
Tight.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. This is something I love, which is there's two versions of it. If it's on purpose, I think that kind of middle finger shit when you have a lot of money and a stylist is so funny and so cool.
Because there's no reason, like she can wear whatever at any time and just throw it away.
She doesn't need to be wearing white Hey Dudes with the Celine top and bottom. It's crazy. But if it's not on purpose, it's still it's funny, but it's also like, then it makes me concerned of like, if you're not doing this on purpose, this wasn't a move you made. That means you legitimately think both are cool, and that makes me believe, I don't think you know anything about Celine or Phoebe or Edie or anything. Yeah. So it makes me be like, all right, well, wait a minute. I think you just bought Celine because it's rich, and then you paired it with Hey Dudes because you're dumb.
Or they're cozy.
The question is, which one is Sydney Sweeney? I don't know. I'm going to guess it's a little on the other side, and it's not because she's like a blonde girl. It's just that she's like kind of corny.
Mm-hmm.
Is
she like normie?
I think it's cool that she's like into cars or whatever, but like whenever they show videos of her doing it, it's corny.
She's into cars?
Yeah, something about
like American cars.
Yeah, it seems like muscle cars and shit.
If it ain't Mopar, it's no car.
It ain't
Joker,
American, get it out of here. It's a little dumb.
Yeah.
Like it's corny, not dumb. It's just corny.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lean that this might be a little on the corny side, not the like cool middle finger to like I'm gonna wear.
I would agree.
Dumb shoes with something really expensive, which I love. Obviously.
Now, but if somebody who is well respected for their fucking fashion, whatever, who would be a celebrity that could pair Hey Dudes with Celine? You'd be like, what they're doing.
Get it. It's like always a toss up with celebrities. I don't know if they're actually like dialed in or not.
If I were a rich celebrity, Timothy, and I were
like Rick Rubin or some stupid shit like that. I don't know. Even these types of weird people, the weirdos that do this kind of thing,
he's fake cerebral.
I don't know if they actually get it or not. I never know. You can never tell.
Like, dude, if I were famous, and I would have my photo taken, I'd probably dress exactly how I do now. You know what I mean? You'd never see me in.
I would have. It's the only difference is it would be the same general style, but then when I see like a plaid shirt made of leather from who was that? Was that Celine? I think it was Celine. I might be forgetting.
I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember.
It wasn't the drop that happened last time. The first time we were in Japan, we were in the Korean airport. We were talking about it.
Maybe it might have been. I think it was Celine, and it's like it's like a $20,000 plaid shirt made of leather. So stupid. I like that kind of thing if I have throwaway money because I think it's funny.
Because it's mostly the same thing you already have.
Yeah. So if it could fit into what I'm already doing, but then I love the idea of like having something crazy expensive outfit on and then some stupid ass shoes.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
as long as it's real.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I'm gonna revert back. I think this is real to her. I think Hey Dudes is her culture. And she put it with the Celine thing. I'm pro it. I think she looks cool. I think it's dumb, but it's cool.
Yeah,
we love it.
Cool.
All right, next one. Oh, we did this one. I don't know why we did this one when we missed other ones, but we didn't do that one because we did the uniforms one. I remember doing that. Maybe we were going in the other order. I thought I had one more for us. Let me see if I had it somewhere else. Oh, someone was bringing up the best game worns of all time. Like you mean, so like what could you like, game worn jersey, what would be the ultimate thing? Or if it could be anything else throughout history, like the best game worn, like you think of like Kennedy's suit jacket.
I was going to say, we're not limiting to sports.
Anything like crazy, like, you know what I mean? I think this might've been Lil Dibs talking about James Dean's like jeans when he died on the motorcycle or something, or the jacket or something like that. I mean, these would be ultimate.
He died on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Crazy.
In Indiana, baby. Was it Indiana? I don't remember now. Might have been Illinois. I don't remember. I did have one right off the bat that I thought of. The Margaret Howell corduroy jacket from The Shining. That's what I'd want.
Really?
The red corduroy jacket he wears in The Shining.
Actually, I didn't know that was Margaret Howe.
I would love to have that. I think that would be that'd be a really to have that.
Oh, it's sick.
To have that hung up in my rafters would be great. I'm trying to think of other ones, but that's my main one. I thought of that one right away, and I was like, if I could get a hold of one of those, I want the real one. I want the one he carted the axe around with. I
am 100% blank. I've got nothing to add.
Got nothing.
I got nothing. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got the Margaret.
If it comes to me, I'll circle around to it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell people we got to wrap this one up because we got to do another one right after this. But what's going on right now? This is coming out Thursday. What's happening?
Okay. So this comes out on Thursday. Let me start by saying this: if you've listened this far, thank you, and you're more than welcome to hop over to www.shopcanoeclub.com. The discount code for Labor Day is Labor Day 2024, Labor Day 2024. We will be emailing the public, I believe, Friday, Timbo? Yes. So you get it a day early. So thank you for listening. Labor Day 2024, shopcanoeclub.com. Site-wide, we've got a bunch of new shit that just came in. Let me kind of rattle off what has come in, what is coming. Lemaire came in. Beams Plus came in. Puebco is up and live. Everything that came last week is up and live. We have Visvim jackets. We have a Visvim jacket, 2 or 3 pairs of Visvim boots. We have Frismworks on the way, 31 boxes. We have, I'm going to import Herald today. No telling when that lands, but it's on the way. Coddle, I believe all of it is up. Mm-hmm. All of Coddle is up.
We're missing randoms. There's like Solomon's, New Marnie.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that deliver in little chunks. Solomon, some Hoka, Marnie, some Hokas. Lady White
Lemaire?
Fall Winter 24 is on the way.
It's not up yet, but it will be up.
So Lemaire will be up. Yep.
Really good pieces.
Needles. Is Needles up?
I don't know.
I'm just going to check real quick while we're at it.
I can't remember.
Okay, cool. And confirming all of Coddle is up. I looked yesterday and it wasn't, and it is now. So we're good there. Needles, we got the 7 cuts back in all the colors you love. Needles is live, so hop over and check that out. We got
the new Inside Out 7 cuts too. That's very cool.
It's literally the inverse of the fabric. Mm-hmm. What else? I'm just gonna pop over new releases. We just merged that. MM6 shit's live. Cowgirl's live. Camille's live.
I might have to go to the bottom there, buddy.
EG landed.
FA pants, fatigues, jacket. I don't remember which one.
I'm going to go to the second page, and then I will not continue longer. Samuel Zelli got some Crocs. Quo watches are here in mass. Okay, cool. So that's about it in terms of product. There's other things that'll be on the way, like Taiga Takahashi a little bit later in the season. Ordinary Fits out of Japan hit us up. Our first delivery is getting to be ready. We're expecting that more towards the end of September, mid to end of September. Like I said, I'm going to import Herald today. It's 3 boxes, so it's quite a bit of stuff. Timothy and I placed a pretty, this is our first order. We placed it quite a while ago. Since placing the order, he's acquired some pieces. I've acquired a piece. Chris has acquired 20 or 30 pieces because of the way that he fucking online shops. But it's really nice. So what we did was decided we didn't have enough coming because you're going to buy shit, I'm going to buy shit. We're all going to buy shit. Customers are going to buy shit. So we upped the order a little bit. We got a bunch on the way. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that. That's about it in way of product. ShopCanoeClub.com. Labor Day 2024 is the code. Share it with your friends.
I think we've got a fun YouTube, like a styling one this week too.
Oh yeah, we styled Easton last week.
Maybe
that'll
maybe
go
as
up.
of the podcast release it will.
Cool. Yep, I'll plug that if it's out. Other than that, y'all, thank you for being here. If you want a Discord invite, shoot me an email. There's a wait list. I think it's live on the website.
I think so.
I'll confirm with that. Other than that, yeah, we're cruising. We're going to hop into our Patreon episode after this. So if you're part of the Patreon.
Yeah, if you want another episode and then you want us to do, I think we're going to maybe do a little bit more celebrity reviews.
Mm-hmm. Cool. A buddy sent us some snacks, so we're going to try those snacks on pod real quick as well.
Try some snacks.
That's about it. I'm going to, before we start another one, don't you hate when this happens, bro? The coffee cup.
That's it. You can't go there. You can't go there anymore. Wherever that's from, that's a no.
Lolitas, bro. And it's like, listen, the only function, this was created for one purpose, one singular purpose on this planet, and it's to hold hot black coffee. And within a minute of starting the pod, it is soaked through. So basically what I'm trying to say is,
I just thought about how
what's
funny
the fucking function?
What's how funny it would be if I just turned it off when you started going down. Just let it end right there.
So anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
Bye.